Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, and thank you for joining us once again, TheModenstersOfGaming. I'm KaijuK's. With me here is the Mother Maxine.
Hello!
And I'm going to be doing a quick top 10 list. It's been a while since I've done top 10 lists, so this is the month of May, the merry month of May. We're going to begin doing them. We'll start with a few anime ones before I bring back my top 10 Fakemon that I've been asked by several people to make. You know who you are, and they'll be coming. But I wanted to start with one of my favorite animes, if not my favorite anime of all time, One Piece. Particularly, what are my favorite fruits, or the fruits I would most likely want to have from the One Piece anime. Now, before we start this all, I want to bring up the fact that there are going to be some honorable mentions. And of course, as you can see right from the beginning here, here's honorable mention number 1. Hang on a second, I'm trying to X out things. Okay, so honorable mention number 1. Ugh. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is the Doku no Mi, the Venom fruit. It's a very nice devil fruit. It has a lot of potential, but in my top 10 list, I have a much more powerful version of it, in my personal opinion. Next up is the Suno no Mi, also known as the Sand fruit. This is used by my second favorite villain of all time, Crocodile. And basically it turns you into Gaara from Naruto. Able to turn into sand, control sand, drain water from people. It's a pretty nasty deal. The Zushi no Mi, or the Press fruit, allows you to control gravity and, for whatever reason, summon meteors from the sky. It's just overpowered and personified, and I don't really know what you would use it for on a day-to-day basis. Summoning meteors from the sky doesn't seem like something you do every day. Still powerful. The Pika no Mi from my uncle, Admiral Kizaru, I'm just kidding, is the Glint fruit. Allows you to literally turn into light and move at light speed. I think it's about as broken as it gets. I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually give him a lot of trouble except for the Dark King Rayleigh. And you have the Baku no Mi, or the Munch fruit, which almost made it to the list as well. It's held by this gentleman, also known as Wapo. It lets him eat anything he can put in his gigantic mouth and then combine it to turn into all kinds of things. Such as, he can actually literally eat his own soldiers and combine them into other people. He can create weapons from his body from things he's eaten. Here's an example right here. One of my favorite examples of all time is where he ate a cannon and transformed his tongue into a cannon. And finally, from the movie, oh, which movie was this? This was, I can't remember which movie this is from now. This is the Kachi no Mi, or called the Hard fruit. It allows you to make your body into an offensive and defensive weapon. You can make armor on yourself, harden your body, heat your body up. Pretty nasty stuff. But with that being said, let's go with the top 10 favorites I would like to have. Now, you will not find the Gomu no Mi or any of those because I think they're just ridiculous. First, we have the Awa no Mi, or the Bubble fruit. This is used by Khalifa. And basically what it does is it allows you to create and control bubbles that can clean anything they touch. That sounds kind of ridiculous, but if you use the bubbles on a person you don't like, you can clean them of their power. Not only will this be useful on a boat for you being able to clean up any messes that were on the boat, clean up your uniform, you don't need to take showers because you just use the bubbles to do that. But if it was given to somebody who was actually competent and intelligent, don't get me wrong. I mean, I know Khalifa is supposed to be a member of Sector 9 or whatever it's called, but like, she like, here's an example. She holds her hands out to look like sheep ears and covers her body with soap, and this is like a sheep attack. Like, you can't think of something more powerful than that. Like, create a freaking tsunami of bubbles or something like that. But what it is great for day-to-day use, because you could also use it to, say, clean the boat, clean your friends, clean anything for that matter. Walk into a city that just had a natural incident, like a mudslide or something, and you use your ability to clean up all the mud and everything like that. It's a pretty useful power. At number 9, we have the Sabi no Mi, or the Rust fruit. This is probably one of the more offensive ones I have on the list. It allows you to rust any metal you touch. It was eaten by Shu. Now, I don't know what Shu's actual rank was. Shu. What? Let me just double check here. I need to make sure. Shu. He's a captain. Okay. But what this is this basically eliminates things like bullets can't hit you. They turn to dust before they touch you. You can break through swords, spears. It does have a weakness if somebody's using, say, a wooden staff or a club made of stone or something like that. So you'd have to be careful with that. But there are also a lot of different users of different devil fruits, like the blade fruit, for instance, that turns your body into metal blades. This could really counteract that. It's a really nasty ability. And, terrifyingly enough, it has one other ability. I don't know how this works, because I'm pretty sure the iron in your blood and the iron of a sword are two different types of iron. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Somehow, in some way, some shape, some form, he can grab onto you and literally start rusting your body by rusting the iron in your body. Not sure how that works, but if it was a permanent thing, if he stops touching you for a little bit, it starts to derust you. But like, you could kill somebody like that, like taking all the iron from their body. They wouldn't be able to control their body temperature. It would just, he'd have trouble with me. I have too much iron in my blood. After this is the Bato no Mi model vampire. This is the only Zoan fruit on the list. This was used by Patrick Redfield. If we can get a picture of him real quick. Patrick Redfield. This is him. This is good old Patrick Redfield. He's a weird individual. He's weird looking. But this is the Bat fruit model vampire. Here's a better picture of him looking like this. Yeah. And besides giving you all the uses that a bat could use, like flight, echolocation, seeing well in the dark. Yes, bats are not blind. It lets you literally drain the life force from people, their age, and enfeeble them and make yourself basically immortal. Combine the flight, the speed, the echolocation, the dark vision, and the ability to drain your opponents of their own life force. You could cripple your opponents and heal yourself at the same time. It's a pretty powerful fruit. But other than that, since it has a flight capability, you can avoid some of the major weaknesses of devil fruits. You could use the scout around the areas. Echolocation can see things you can't see. It's a pretty fun one. Now, remember what I was talking about earlier? I was talking about the Doko no Mi. This is the more powerful version of it. This is the Gasu no Mi, or the Gas fruit. And it is used by this gentleman, Caesar Clown. What a... I'm just sorry. It's just like, he's... How could you not know he's evil? Like, how could people walk up to him and not know he's evil? Look at this man. He is just evil personified. He looks like Joker and Lucifer had a kid. I mean, seriously, this man is just, hey, look at me. I'm not evil at all. I mean, I do have the ability to create gas that can choke you, poison you, suck all the oxygen out of the air, explode, melt you, cause disease. But obviously, I'm a good guy. The gas fruit, once again, a flight-capable fruit, has the ability to make you intangible. I believe hockey and still hurt you, though. And, I mean, with the right intelligence, you could use it for other things, though. Like, he can create any form of gas or absorb it into his body and recreate it. So he could create things like laughing gas, or numbing agents, or 420 blaze it, and really have fun. Can you imagine a group of Marines trying to fight you and you just make them all high as a kite? Like, they're not going to fight you no more. They're going to be looking for munchies. I got a fruit for that later on, but this is just a fun fruit. I like this one. Next up, the Fuku no Mi, or the clothing fruit. Or sorry, the garb fruit. This literally lets you make any type of clothing you can imagine and put it on people. There goes your cleaning bill. But not only that, it's anything he can imagine. Imagine, that's a big term. Imagine. As long as he can focus on it, he can create it. Dresses, nightgowns, pajamas, armored suits. Yes, he can create armor. He can turn things in armor. Little leaf puts it on your forehead. What happens? Now you're suddenly running around in Master Chief's friggin' Moyana armor. Yeah, he could do that. With your imagination, he could do that. He's created samurai armor. He's created clothing, costumes, etc. He's done all of it. That man, of course, being Kinemon. Who I don't remember actually if I've seen him fight before, but judging by his two swords, I'm guessing he's probably a decent swordsman. But yeah, just the ability to create any clothing. Not only could you use it to run a shop, you could create unlimited clothing for a shop, but your day-to-day basis, you know, you land on an island and it's a desert island. You could create desert garb so you could be safe on the island. Waterproof materials. The list goes on. I've seen them create hats, gloves, boots. So basically anything that you can wear as clothing. It doesn't get much more fun than something like this. He can, let's see, here's a few examples. Like he created a coat for Nami because it was cold. Another coat, kimono. There you go. There's the armor for Chopper there. I think that Tony Chopper. That's great. He's so cute. And of course, Usopp the god himself. Even more clothing, and of course, he disguising himself as Don Flamingo, which Don Flamingo didn't make it to this list because I couldn't. I actually, maybe he is. I can't remember right now. But if I forgot to put him on here, I wouldn't put him on the list because I could have too much fun with Don Flamingo, his power. Oh, there it is right there. The Ito no Mi, or the string fruit, eaten by everyone's most hated individual of all time, Mr. Abs himself, Don Flamingo. This power seems, at first, it seems very underwhelming. It allows him to create string. That doesn't seem like much. But it gets better. The string is razor sharp and strong as heck. It can survive meteor hits, sword blades, etc. I put this slightly above the Fugu no Mi because imagine using that kind of fabric to create cloth armor and stuff like that. You could really make it strong. Garrote wire, take out your opponent silently. You could use it to create sails that would never break. Stitching for people's wounds, etc., etc., etc. Not only that, but he has the ability to, like right here, he stitched up his own organs. He sliced up meteors coming in. He literally used it to turn houses into more string. He can create puppetry with it. It's a nasty, nasty power. But it was given to an absolute douche canoe. Don Flamingo is my favorite villain, but it's only because he's the only villain that I don't have any mercy for. Like, I don't feel bad for him at all. He's just a dick. That's coming from a guy who has friends that are classically trying to outperform each other in the kingdom of who's the biggest a-hole. But that's no match for the Berry no Mi, or the barrier fruit, used by my favorite of the non-Straw Hat Pirates, who's also a Straw Hat Pirate, Bartholomew the Cannibal. I actually don't think he's a cannibal. Also, quick idea, Bartholomew, please don't put your blade that close to your crotch. I just realized looking at this picture that that's one small kick to your leg and you're going to be missing something. So, this is, in my opinion, one of the most underused and overpowered of all the devil fruits in the series. It allows you to create literal barriers of energy. They're not affected by hockey. They're not, as long as he concentrates, he can create them. He can use them to smash people, create boxing gloves around his hands, different shapes, barriers, and everything like that. In fact, it was even able to hold up against the strings of Don Flamingo and not get cut while other people's swords and stuff were being slashed to pieces by it. It is such a powerful ability, but I think it could be used so much more. Not just through the use of, like, here's an example of him using his barrier right here. He just took all kinds of damage and it didn't even affect him. He was able to block that. Oh, I'm trying to see if I can find his punch. Here it is. So because somebody insulted his captain of captains, a.k.a. Monkey D. Luffy, he literally surrounded his fist with his unbreakable barrier and just rock-stalked and three-barreled the guy right in the dome. Like, it's so powerful, and once again, like I said, I haven't really seen anything that can truly break the barrier no Mi. It is so strong and has so many benefits. You could create a giant hamster ball around yourself and run across the ocean with it, so you could avoid your biggest weakness. You could create a barrier around somebody's head and wait for them to suffocate. That's not a good thing for using it. I'm just saying you could use it for that. You could create a literal barrier armor around yourself and just fight. It's got a lot of really cool uses to it. Next up on the list, one of my personal favorites, the Cuckoo Cuckoo no Mi, or the Cook fruit. Eaten by Struzen. Yes, this absolute Chad of a man right here, folks. Take it in. This is what peak male looks like. Okay, I could be wrong. This may not be what pure male looks like. But anyways, so this ability allows you to turn any object you touch into food. As you can see in the picture right here, he literally takes a log and cuts it into steak. Now I know a lot of people said that Big Mom, who's the pirate who serves with him, basically. I think they generally like each other. Which is very rare for Big Mom. Said that the food wasn't that tasty, but I've seen constantly people eating it and loving it. So I'm guessing that, well, Big Mom always has high regards to food. Like, if it isn't a 5-star meal, it's just not good for her. But this is, right here, just the unbelievable, most powerful fruit you could have on a boat. Oh no, the food spoiled. Well, you don't have to worry about it with this. Pick up some logs. Pick up some bales of hay or something like that, and then just use the cook fruit to create the food. You know, you have you run into a bad shipwreck, start pulling the boards on board, and guess what? Pfft, there you go. I've never seen him use it on a living creature before, but I did see him turn an entire castle into sponge cake to protect the kingdom from being destroyed by the castle falling. I don't know how taking, a 180,000 ton castle and turning it to 180,000 tons of sponge cake makes the difference, but I mean, it worked. This is so powerful because, once again, you could be wealthier than your wildest dreams with this capability. Because it allows you to turn objects into food, but it also allows him to create seasoning from the objects too, which means he can also create herbs for this. Now, go with me on this one. This could be stretching it a little far, but I mean, let's look at some herbs. There's peppermint, which can be used to help with pain. Turmeric, which can help with more pain. Salt, pepper for the seasoning. Sage. You could create a lot of things that could be used in medical remedies. You could create, healthier food than the regular pirates eat. If you don't know what pirates usually ate, without Sanji on board, it was usually like salted meats, dried vegetables. Not really the best for you. Someone's suffering from scurvy, you just smack a stick in something that's full of orange juice, give it to them. It works. It's just a great power. But there are still two I hold above the Cuckoo no Mi. First of all, this is the Gemo no Mi. Well, this is a non-canon ability. This is not technically a devil fruit in the context of the actual game world, but I'm going to use it. It's the game fruit. It allows you to pull people into your tablet, and you can transport them into other video games, where they can either be powered down, powered up, etc. Once again, it was used by a complete moron. This has so many benefits. This is such a powerful devil fruit. Example of it. You get injured. We're nowhere near a hospital. You're in trouble, okay? However, I pull you into a game like... Okay, I'm starting out here, guys. Dark Souls. Don't freak out yet. Now, you go to the bonfire and light the bonfire. You die in the game, but the bonfire revives you. Now you're at full health. You're unhurt. I can now pull you out of the game. It's not really explained all of its capabilities. There's a limit to how many people can be in a game. There's a limit to things that can and cannot be harmed. You can use it to take control of vehicles. But Basically, it kind of works like what happens to you in the game happens to you in real life when you come out. So if you get a spear shoved through your head and you come out of the game, you're not going to get back up. But there's so many benefits to this that it really makes it so powerful if you use the imagination. For instance, throw somebody into The Sims 3. In fact, throw your entire crew into The Sims 3. They can cook food, rest in luxury, relax, etc. Yeah, you have to sit out there and watch it happen, but your crew is going to love you for that afterwards. Not to mention, it's really not explained how powerful this is. It's Fisher One Piece Chapter 4. But if what happens to you, like if Arlong beats you in the game, you're beaten up in real life in this picture right here. This is just an example of a fighting game. Then when you come out of that game, you're gonna suffer for it. But I wonder if you could go a little further. Let's look at a game like Final Fantasy IX, where if you equip certain weapons and you master the skills with that weapon, you learn a new technique. What if you had somebody use a white wand and they learn the cure spell and then come out of the game? Can they still use the cure spell? Food for thought, food for thought. But there is one I feel stronger than even this, and that is the Shiro Shiro no Mi. I'm sorry, folks, I am being biased on this. This is my favorite devil fruit because it's from the greatest character to ever be invented in One Piece. The Shiro Shiro no Mi, aka the Castle fruit, used by none other than Capone Beige. This man is a legend. This man right here, this man, do not underestimate this man right here. He is literally a Mafia Don. Literally, he plays the role of a Mafia Don. He can do things, and with people, like, this is just an example right here of the video real quick, but he can literally have cannons hidden within his body that fire out cannonballs that are very tiny until they hit the dead zone around his body, and then they come out full power. He can hide cavalry inside himself. He can create rooms, create food, create traps, create clones of himself in his body to run his weaponry. He can create any kind of weapons he can imagine inside the body. That's powerful, and in the world of One Piece, cannons are pretty strong. I exist in the year 2023. I'm a little higher up on the scale than horseback riders and cannons. and no offense to Mr. Capone here, but all hail to the Capone, the king or lord, master of the fire pirates. But this man right here, this absolute legend, he's a little bit weaker than what I could be with the same power. I open up those little ports on my body and they have Scud missiles in them. My soldiers come out in ATVs or perhaps even APCs. A couple Bradley tanks come crawling out of there. And I could just gush. I could gush over Capone. I could gush over Capone all day. I could. He is one of the greatest written characters in all of One Piece. But that being said, I would love the Shiro Shiro no Mi for so many reasons. I'm a tactician at heart. I prefer strategic battles over running forward and swinging a club over my head going, aye, 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 aye. It does not work all the time, folks. But with this power, you can walk into the middle of Marineford. And nobody would know that you have all this weaponry and stuff with you. You could walk into the middle of an army, of the Revolutionary Army, and snap your fingers, and suddenly they are outnumbered, and you're in the middle of the fight. You've separated everybody. And it's just, how else do I say it? It's just so cool. Like, here's one of his powers right here. He literally turns himself into a giant castle covered in cannons that can still walk around, and I believe his cigar was a cannon. He can create treads for legs so he can drive faster. Here's an example of him creating traps inside his body. Create traps and weapons out of nothing. Literally out of nothing. Now, yes, it doesn't have the same capabilities of the Cuckoo no Mi. It's not as defensive as the Barry no Mi. You know, you can't play with people like it's a game. And I know that this kind of power would not hold a candle against most of the Marine captains, the Marine generals, the admirals, etc. And I know for a fact that characters like Luffy would mop the floor with me. But you're all making it sound like that's... Y'all think about it that way. Why would I want to be at war like this? These are not what I consider the strongest devil fruits. These are considered the ones I would like to have. The ability to be able to protect all of my soldiers inside of me. Let them have a life of comfort. Create them food, bedding, weapons. Let me tell you something. Just like all you employers out there who screw their employees over and wonder why they keep quitting, let me tell you something. You keep your subordinates happy, they're going to be on you for the rest of your life. They're going to want to protect you. They want to do everything, especially in the world of One Piece, where pirate crews, sometimes a pirate will join at age 6 or 7 and will still be standing by his captain into his mid-ages. It's more, when you look at the world of One Piece, it's not so much what's the most powerful fruit in the entire thing. For instance, I personally believe the Pika Pika no Mi can outdo the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Except not the Sun God model of it. No, not that one. But like the ability to turn yourself into light and then hit somebody at light speed. You have to be a special kind of somebody to survive a hit like that in the world of One Piece. And in case you're wondering why I call him Uncle Kizaru, well, to be honest with you, he does look like one of my uncles. I'm not gonna lie, Uncle Kizaru. He does look like my Uncle Kizaru. Well, he's not my Uncle Kizaru. He's my Uncle Daki. But he does look. He does have this build. He just has a thicker beard. But like, he can create light swords. Can the Castle fruit do that? Well, probably not. But it just has so much more purpose, so much more potential. Same thing with the Awa Awa no Mi. Some of these fruits were just given to characters who don't know what the heck they are doing, or are just underutilized. Once again, barrier no Mi. The ability to create literally indestructible barriers. They are indestructible, cannot be broken. As long as you are focusing, you are invincible. And yet, he's reduced to a joke character. The Awa Awa no Mi allows you to literally steal the strength and power from somebody you hit it with, even their devil fruits, as long as they don't get rinsed off with clean water. And it has to be clean water. Salt water apparently doesn't work. It has to be clean water. Like, that is a broken power. And she makes herself look like a sheep. Yeah, you know, it's just one of those things. Like, there are so many devil fruits in the world of One Piece, and some of them are utilized for good. A lot of them are utilized for evil. But if you sit back and just look at what the devil fruit could be capable of, not what it is, but what it could be capable of, you can see why powers like the Gemo Gemo no Mi, the Kuku Kuku no Mi, those are weapons of mass destruction. You just have to use your imagination. But folks, with that, I believe I have taken up enough of your time. I want to thank everybody who's still here listening to this. I hope you have some opinions of yourselves, and if you want, go ahead and throw your favorite devil fruits into the comments below, or tell me what you think about my list, or give me your list even. This is the first of a couple of the top 10 lists. The other Modensters will be joining in with other top 10 lists. But seeing as I've watched several hundred episodes of the One Piece saga, the anime, read the manga, I feel this one was just a little more fun for me. But thank you all for watching. I hope you had fun. And until next time, folks, I'm KaijuK.
I'm Mama Bear.
And we'll see you all in the future. Peace out, everybody.